Hello everyone. This is the next installation of my layout series number 3. And you see there's a piece of plywood on my stove. Why is that? Well, I have this box that has a laser cutter in it. So hopefully I'll put that together and show you a little bit about what that's going to be used for. In addition, in this series, I will probably cover some of the other ideas that I'm working on for the layout. I'm working in SCRM layout planner to plan out some of the track plans and have some great ideas there. Also, on my own personal software company, I'm making a train inventory app. I'll show you maybe a prototype of that as part of this video. It's far from ready, but I'm going to try and use it to inventory my collection as part of putting them in boxes, and I can show you how that works, as well as any other kind of things that I want to discuss that I'm thinking about for the layout. The layout still doesn't have all the trains in its boxes, but it will hopefully in the next few days. And then I will be disassembling the layout. I'll probably show some pictures of me doing that and then taking the wall down. But that will probably be in the next update video. So thanks for watching. If you like my content, please subscribe, tell others about it, and also like my videos. Thanks. One thing that you immediately notice about Xtool is their presentation. They do such a great job at packaging things. They have these nice brochures and little cardboard boxes. And they got all this really nice foam, kind of foam that squishes but doesn't destroy itself. And look how pretty this is. This doesn't really show on the camera, I don't think, but it's kind of like this steel blue gray. The red version was out of stock, and I didn't really care too much about what color I was going to get, but this looks sweet, totally sweet. I think this is probably the power supply. We got some other stuff. Probably there's some electronics in this kind of silvery bag that normally is the case. Oh, that's actually the laser head. And then we got the rails. So I'll start assembling this. There's plenty of videos showing that done online if you're more interested in finding out about how the Xtool is assembled. And hopefully I will be able to show a train part being cut on it. So I got everything out of the box. And that big square box I first took out, that has the safety glasses and the power supply. Very important to be using those. One of the nice green boxes has all the manuals in it. And the other one had some supplies that you can cut and play around with. I believe this aluminum plate is used to protect your table underneath the laser so you don't cut a hole in it. And we have basically only 4 frame members, and then we have one traveling member. So there's only 4 parts to bolt together. There's this pulley shaft thing, and then there's also the laser there. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on it. The manual is not very big. It's in like many different languages, and it's not very thick. It's probably about as thick as Lionel's new catalog. Hey, actually, that other thing wasn't the instruction manual to assemble. This is, which has a bunch of pictures in it. And it's quite a few pages long. So what I said before is wrong. And actually, it's going to probably take me a little while because it looks like there's a lot of steps here. So wish me luck. Here I'm assembling the frame. There's the front piece that has electronics and the power button and connectors, and there's 2 side frames and the back frame. They all bolt together with little screws, and you just work at each corner to get the screws started and then tighten them all down. The last step. The frame is pretty square. Next, you slide the coupling for the motor onto the shaft that has the pulley, and then after that, you insert the pulley into the end bearing that's near the circuit board. Then you slide the coupling over to the motor. And then what I've shown here is I put a business card in the gap so that I can make sure that I can space the coupling between the motor shaft and the pulley shaft. The card will prevent it from going beyond either shaft, so when you insert it in the slot, that's what that does. Next, we hook in the motor harness, those things with the white connectors, and then we tie wrap it down to the frame nicely. And here is the arm that moves. I put new tie wraps on just so I could get the wire out of the way of this moving mechanism. I didn't think it was great up in front. And I also had to slip the belt back into this black piece. I hooked into the connectors for the moving arm into the main board. And then I attached another connector for one of the sensors from the main arm that moves. And then tie wrapped all the wires to the bottom of the base as shown here. Then I put the memory card in and download some software. And then I was ready to start cutting. The software is pretty basic. I just started with a star. And here you see the laser is cutting at real speed. This camera wasn't sped up or nothing. So this is what it's cutting. It's cutting through 1/4 inch thick, I think maple plywood, which would be a good candidate for making bridges or something like that in the layout. So I'm showing this just to show what it can do. You can see the smoke coming out of the honeycomb. I have this on my stove with the vent hood on full to get the smoke out of the house. I thought that was the best way to do it in my situation. You might want to do this out in your garage or have some kind of fan blowing or sucking off of this or put it in a box. Anyway, so you can see how fast it cuts. And it's just done with a star now. And I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to just poke it out. It's cut all the way through that plywood, which is really quite amazing. So here we are in SCARM looking at the original layout design. The trestle that's on the second level as well as the shelf layout aren't shown on this picture. But basically this was the original layout without this corkscrew when I originally designed it. And you can see that I have 3 loops in here that trains can run on, and they're all separated by blocks. And I have a bunch of dog bones in here. So you can see there's a dog bone here, and then there's a dog bone here, and then there's another dog bone there, and then there's another kind of dog bone that you can't really see here. And what was fun with this with conventional trains is I could just have them go through the switches and they would just go like that would be one track, and then it would go over here to there and over, and you could go reverse here. And then also if you wanted to do a wide loop around the layout, you could go around here, you could go on the passing side in here. And then there's a bunch of accessories in the interior of this whole layout, which is not shown here. So that was the layout originally, and then eventually I wanted to add a second level, and I was like, well, how can we get to that? So then I added this corkscrew contraption, and then it would go around that trestle, and that was like a major job with the layout. And then I expanded the corkscrew to go up one more level and then put a shelf layout for some other stuff. And that's where the layout is today. And now I have some really large engines that I can't really run on this because this is all 031 turns. So I'm proposing getting rid of the wall, which I'm going to do. And this is some of the ideas for the new layout. Now, one of the things I like about the old layout is the dog bones, being able to reverse trains and stuff. So what we have here is on the interior, we have a dog bone of 072 track, and then we have all dog bone here as well. And then we have crossover switches, so we can switch from one train track to the other. And so if we're going down this larger, I think it's 081 track parallel, we can have 2 trains running by each other in opposite directions, and that should look pretty cool. I have a Millhouse River Studio turntable that I ended up buying for my Christmas present. So this is kind of way too many whisker tracks, but I don't do realism. I just do kind of fun stuff. So, well, realism's fun stuff, but I do some stuff non-conventional. So I might not have all these tracks in here. And so this is basically going to be the waist level layout. And then you can see here I have this really huge bridge. And that bridge will allow me to go to the shelf layout where I'll have my conventional stuff. And how do you go to the shelf layout with a bridge? Well, I propose putting this bridge on an elevator. So that's kind of some of the craziness I'm thinking of. I do have some of the shelf circles here on the diagram. I'm not really sure how they'll work out in the plan. The trestle that I built, I'm hoping that I can have it somehow in the layout, but maybe with my new laser printer, I can build new bridges. I don't know. So that's basically what I'm planning to do with the layout. The last thing I would like to talk about is my new app that I'm doing at MyTranslist.com. Basically, it's a train inventory app where you can put most of the features that might be important to you. Currently, I'm just doing it for myself to see how I can do with it. So the app, basically, when you do log in as a user, you have a screen that looks like this with an inventory of your trains under certain categories. I'm going to have sorting functions later, but right now I'm just getting the trains in the trains. So you have a train button, you have a train sets button. You notice when you switch these, you get a different, train set plus icon. When you're on the trains, you get a train plus icon. So what the train plus icon does is it allows you to load up a dialog to put in your train. And one of the neat features is we have some AI tech in it so that when you load a picture, in this case I preloaded a picture, but let's get example one. And we have this lumber car here. So down in description, if we wanted to, we could go ahead and select this text and press the A button, and the AI and the tech and the app will identify the text so you don't have to type it in yourself. The image is still present for this, so we could just call this a lumber car, let's say. And the tech, it should identify that. And then we want to get the model number in there, which would be a 3661. We can do that. So it prevents you from having to type stuff in. There's no road name here. Also down here we have a date that we bought it. Let's say we bought it today. There we go. And train location would be, let's say, at home, and the box would be maybe in a storage container place, let's say, or it could be in the attic. Let's say box location's attic, and the train location's basement, or something like that. And then you could put in your bought price for your lumber car, $90, and the market price is $90, let's say. And then you can put in the category. So in the case of this operating car, it's an operating category. And so if you hover over these, you'll see that there's different designations here. We have a steam train, a diesel train, electric train, passenger car. In this case, the operating car is eventually going to change this icon to have a little man in there to represent an operating car. So then you just say save, and you can see it's down here. The lumber car is down here as an option. Now, another thing that we can do is we can do a video URL. So if you go to your favorite video channel on YouTube at Jimmy Trains, my channel, you will see some videos there, obviously. Let's say we had a video here that we really liked. I'll forget about the commercial. Anyway, filament printer, and so let's say we want to, we had a video of our train that we wanted to display. We could go to share, and so here's the front pentagram. Grab this, copy this. The lights are on. And then if you go back here and put the video URL in here, you notice that that video is now in your train app too. So you can just press it just like anything else, although it's not seeming to behave right now. But anyway, so we'll save that. We come back in here, let me go out of mobile mode and to normal mode. So you press that and the video will play.
Welcome back to the train room.
So if you want to have a little video of your car or something like that, maybe you're going to sell it to somebody, or you just wanted to remember some feature of it, you could. So that's pretty much it so far. Yeah, it's working out to be a pretty nice app. And I don't have any anticipated time I'm going to finish this, but just thought I would show it to you guys. Thanks.